Hello, everyone. Here we are in our last week of the course, and I would imagine you're looking forward to getting on to the next course. One more assignment to do in this last week, the video presentation. That's to be no less than 1 minute and no more than two. And the video can be, you may already have a way that you prefer doing your video. I use to make these videos Screencastify and then publish them to YouTube. The difficulty that I've run into and the difficulty that you've had accessing in the beginning the videos is because I set the privacy setting too high in YouTube. And so now I just simply publish to public YouTube. As a GFU student, you have access to that through your Gmail account. You do the video in the easiest way possible. However, make sure that it's the quality of the video can be used in a work situation. This week, okay, so let's talk about this week and what you'll be reading, chapters 12 and 13. Chapter 12 has to do with the organizational communication, which the chapter begins talking about the historical scientific method of looking at organizations, Frederick Taylor. Then it talks about the human relations approach to organizations. And one of the important things I want you to note in that chapter is on page 315, where there's a list of differences between leaders and managers. And this is an ongoing discussion amongst people in the business world. Are managers and leaders two separate kinds of functions, or are they the same thing? Some people very strongly say that managers and leaders are the same thing. Other people make clear distinctions, as does Warren Bennis in that list that you will find in the textbook. Very definitely, managers do have to step up and do leadership kinds of things. I'm not sure that all leaders are good managers. Leaders are good, if they're good leaders, they're good at vision and strategy and mission statements. They're not always really good at actually getting those things accomplished, and that's why they need managers. But you take a look at that list and see what you think. And then I want you to pay attention to page 319. There's a whole discussion about the relationship between what the textbook calls superior and subordinate relationships. I'm not comfortable with those terms, but that's what is used in the workplace. And there's some important items that are listed there, like trust and power. Pay attention to those. And pay attention to 323, where it talks about organizational culture. We've just come through talking about how culture can affect the way communication is accomplished or not accomplished. Now we move into the concept of within each organization, there is a particular culture. And I suppose the best way to define what that looks like is the way things are done here. For example, if you take a job and move into a particular, to a new organization, and you start doing things the way that you did in the previous job, somebody might come up to you and say, no, we don't do things that way here. And that is reflecting the organizational culture, how things are done. Not the same way that they're done in other. And organizational culture also has to do with the mission, the vision, all of those things as well. And on page 324, there's important concepts about values and ethics, and you need to pay attention to that, especially the chart on page 326 that lists some of the typical ethical issues that can arise and where they need to go. So it's important to be aware of that. And then networking. These days, especially if you move from job to job, if you're going to move up in any organization, or if you're going to make any changes in your career, networking is an absolute essential. pay attention to that. Chapter 13 talks about transformational leadership. The author began the text talking about transformational leadership and the ethos of the leadership and so forth. This is a particularly the leadership principles that are talked about today are more transformational types of leadership. There are other styles. The chapter simply gives you an overview because there are whole courses dedicated to leadership. So take a look at that and look at the vision, the whole discussion around vision and mission statements. These, of course, you cannot exhaust all of those in this short chapter. And then page 365 talks about change communication, which in our time, learning how to manage change communication is extremely important because changes happen constantly. So those are some of the things I want you to look for and pay attention to as you read these chapters this week. And I look forward to your discussion as once again, we'll be listening to Julian Treasure on a different topic about how to speak so people will listen. And that is an important part of communication. Enjoy. I look forward to seeing your videos. So if you have any questions, be sure and ask. Talk to you later. Goodbye.